How on earth did I get here? How am I here?
Yacht party!
You accuse members of your family of racism. You don't even...
No, we didn't.
Well,
The British press said that.
right.
Did Meghan ever mention that they're racist?
She said there were troubling comments about
There was concern about his skin colour.
Right. Wouldn't you describe that as essentially racist?
I wouldn't, not having lived within that family.
Hello, beautiful people. You know, I wonder if Meghan Markle was talking about this picture or this idea of her Ford Explorer. Yeah, this is in her supermodeling days. This is, I mean, she choreographed absolutely everything. Remember when she says she used to go through the back door or whatever of the Ford Explorer? What do you guys think? This is Meghan Markle, the model, getting out of a car, humping it more likely. City. What are you doing? Much has been said about Meghan Markle's childhood, how she tried to reinvent her childhood. But we all know that those are all lies. These are all fantasies that this sick woman, I don't think she's sick, this evil woman makes up as she goes along. And she's been very lucky that nobody has called her out, properly called her out. And instead, she's allowed to portray this absolute insane fantasy to the detriment of others. It's actually quite a sad thing to watch, and a very angry one too, because people wonder, why is this woman being allowed to lie, outright slander, defame, instead of being confronted and told the word no? She's not being told the word no. Yes, we have the book by Omid Scobie coming out again. Well, it's not Omid Scobie, is it? It's Meghan Markle. I know some people don't want to cover it so as not to give it attention, but I actually will be covering it. I'm not going to buy it, but I will be covering. I have other ways of getting the book. What is really astounding to me is that people, for some reason, are intent on forgetting what they put out there to begin with. I mean, I know that this is history, but this is something that I told you at the very beginning, that her lies are going to get more outlandish. And next year is going to be not 2 royal races, it's going to be 3 royal races. Now, how did Omid Scobie get a hold of that letter or know that that letter was there? How? Is she going to sue Omid Scobie? Let's not forget that Meghan Markle sued Associated Newspapers because they published part of the contents of a letter. Here, Omid is talking that he has seen, that he knows this very deep private information as to who the royal races are. He could only have gotten that information from Harry or Meghan Markle. So what is really, really interesting here is that Meghan Markle is keeping mum. So I'm wondering, is she going to sue him for publishing deeply personal letters? Because he is saying that he knows who the royal races are, but he's not going to say it. And he's also saying that he knows everything. He's talking about those 150 seconds. I mean, Meghan Markle was truly obsessed counting the seconds at that Queen's Walk while she was shit-faced. Because let's not forget, she was shit-faced when she showed up at that walkabout at the Queen's funeral. Yes, it was very shameful, her display, still talking down to the employees, the staff, when they try to take the flowers that the people were giving for her to place at the Queen's. You know, the flowers were not for her. I just want to clarify that. The flowers were not for her. People were giving her the flowers so she could place them at the gates on their behalf as a sign of respect and love to Her Majesty the Queen. But of course, for Meghan Markle, in her mind, she is the Queen. She was there. People were there to adore her, in spite of all the nasty things they have said and done. And what's terrible is that with this book, it clearly shows that she feels offended. She feels offended that that Catherine was not talking to her. I mean, it's like, guys, it's like when an abusive person beats you up and then they get angry with you because their hand hurts. That's how Meghan Markle is. She had gone on Oprah television, on Oprah, whatever you want to call it, and blatantly lied about absolutely everything, trashed Catherine, William, everything the monarchy stood for. And she expected to be welcomed with open arms, given that she's gone and lied. Nobody would dare speak anything in front of them. Why would they? To give her more material. So now she's having Omid write a book about her not being, that Catherine didn't talk to her. So I am going to address a little bit what's put out there, just very quickly, guys. But I will get into the book in more details once I have it in my hands. I'm not going to read it, but I am going to tell you all the juicy stuff so you don't need to buy it, so we don't, pocket the stuff of these people. What do you think, City? Do you think Meghan is a liar, mi amor? Do you think Meghan is a liar, chiquita? Yeah, I think so too, mi amor. Huh? Yeah, Meghan is a liar. You're a queen. Yes, beautiful people. I'm going to dive in with just these first few lies that we got. And Omid Scobie is scrounging like crazy. Because even though Meghan Markle is the one who wrote the book, or who basically gave him all the information, his name is on it. So he's going to take the downfall. Because if any of you think that this is not Meghan Markle who wrote this book, or at very least gave all the information, are we going to sit here in this channel and pretend that we don't know that's Meghan Markle? And let's start with something that's actually quite concerning. And I'm going to tell you who I think is the royal leak. Because one of the things that Meghan Markle says through Omid Scobie in that book is that there was a group chat in the family where there was a message saying, don't trust Harry. So only the people in that group chat would have known that message was ever sent, if that is indeed the case. If that is the case, my money is on Eugenie and Beatrice. If that isn't the case, they're putting this out to create doubt among that group of people. You know what I mean? If it is the case, I am pretty sure that conversations are being had. And I have my suspicions that Eugenie is the one who leaked it, because suddenly Eugenie in that podcast is praising Charles and William, two people she cannot stand, because she knows what she's done. So she wants to be on their good graces. If indeed there was a family group chat and a message saying beware of Harry, which actually was beware of Harry and Meghan Markle, and the reason why people have to beware of Harry is because he's a blabbermouth, and everything anybody tells him, he goes and tells Meghan Markle. Also, let's not forget that they put out a trap. They set up a trap saying that the Queen was coming by royal train. And immediately that was put out in the press. That was a trap. And that Prince William, the King, and some other people put out to lesser royals to see if they would leak. And yes, they did. So now we have this group chat thing, this family group chat. And please be aware that this is a family group chat. And we know that they're very careful. We know that the newspapers are not hacking. The only other way is that the newspapers hacked any of the royal phones, and it should be investigated. Because how would Harry and Meghan Markle know about that group chat unless there was hacking by the press, or someone in that group chat told this to Meghan Markle, or the whole thing was made up just to make themselves more of victims. Please let me know in your comments which one of these three options you think. I'll repeat them. The press hacked all the royal phones, which we know it's unlikely. 2, somebody in that group chat leaked it to Harry and Meghan Markle. My money is in Eugenie and Beatrice. And 3, this is all made up by Meghan Markle to make herself look like a victim. Which one do you think it is? So that's a worrisome part. Number 2, there were 150 seconds. First of all, there were only 4 people and the bodyguards are not going to leak. We know that William and Catherine's team are not going to leak. So only the people involved in that trip would know that that trip only lasted 150 seconds. They were picked up somewhere and then they were carried to that place, because if you didn't know, you would assume that they came from a much further place, right? So the fact that they're giving 150 seconds, just like Meghan Markle was told on that black carpet that suits had been watched 45 billion times. By the way, Meghan Markle was a guest of somebody in that black carpet. She wasn't invited. She was a +1. So, which wasn't commented on there. So, yes. So only the people there. So we have the options here that are either anybody on William's staff, the bodyguards, the driver of the car, or any of the 4 people in that car. I am pretty sure that neither Princess Catherine nor Prince William have spoken to Omid, given the fact that he said that he was banned, that William gave orders to ban him from royal events. No, he's not a royal reporter. He calls himself that. I can call myself Wonder Woman. Does that make me one? No. Although I like to think so. But yeah. He's not a royal reporter. He's a gossiper at best. He's Meghan Markle's mouthpiece. Truly, he fits the definition of Meghan Markle's mouthpiece. So my money is that there were only 4 people in that car who would, or 5, and the driver, who would have known that it was deathly quiet in that thing. That Meghan Markle felt that it was an eternity, because those are Meghan Markle's word. If you look at Meghan Markle's writing, you would know that's her bitchy writing. That's her, please. So only 5 people inside that car would have known that it was deathly silence and uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable for her because she knew what she'd done. Let's not forget the death stare that Catherine gave her. And I mean, Meghan Markle should consider herself lucky, because if it had been me, I would have not been civil enough to sit across a woman who has trashed my kids, has trashed my name, has been absolutely skanky towards my side of the family and my husband's side of the family, who had trashed the Queen and everything she stood for. I wouldn't have been that civil. And on top of that, bullied my own kid. So Meghan Markle wants to abuse, and it's angry and it's angered when people don't take it. It's like, you got to take my abuse. And this is the thing that I tell you about consequences. Meghan Markle has never been made accountable for anything in her entire life. Nothing. She keeps lying, nothing happens to her. She keeps slandering, nothing happens to her. So, as I said, only 5 people in that car would have known that they didn't speak at all. Why would they? We could see that Meghan had some sort of recording device while she was walking completely drunk, because that woman was pissed out of her mind, refusing to hand over the flowers that were not meant for her. They were meant for the Queen. But in her mind, they're giving her, oh, they're accepting her. She's hugging people. It's not for her. So please let me know, which one do you think it is? Is it William and Catherine, who talked to Omid Scobie about how quiet it was in the car and how long the ride lasted? Or was it Meghan, who's basically through Omid talking about this and still angry about it? 3, that Catherine spent more time talking about Meghan than being with Meghan. And every time she said the name Meghan, she giggled and snickered. First of all, I don't see Catherine as a giggly kind of girl. Meghan, absolutely. That fake giggle. see that with Meghan. We just saw that at the hockey game for autism. It wasn't for the Invictus. It was the hockey game to raise awareness for autism. How she laughed at the person singing the Canadian national anthem. She blatantly laughed. Everybody was around her with a solemn occasion, you know, making this person feel important, because it takes a lot of guts to come out and sing in public like that, especially when you are. It's hard for an autistic person. Please Google autism. And she's laughing. People are trying to say, oh, she's nervous. No, she's a 42, almost 43-year-old woman. She's in her mid-40s, guys. And as I said before, this woman has paved the gutters of the hardcore Hollywood set, you know, to get a one-liners. That's the truth. This is a woman who's not a wallflower by any stretch of the imagination. I think she stopped being a wallflower at the age of 13. But hey, who am I? So, again, this whole book, in spite of the fact that they no longer have contact with Catherine and William, they're still bitching about them. This is a book bitching about not Catherine and William staying away from them. So they have to make things up. I told you a long time ago. I've told you many times, and I said to you that Meghan Markle's attitude is like, you know, when you are a corn actress and you're young and they give you, you know, you don't do all the hardcore stuff, but then as you age and you become devalued, then they give you really hard stuff to do, so things become more outlandish, more desperate, and you know, you're desperate, you know, corn with a P. Just replace the P replace the C for a P when I say corn, okay? Those women, you know, they have to do more disgusting things and more desperate things. And this is the same with Meghan Markle. I told you that her lies would only increase. Now it's not one royal racist. And by the way, just to clarify, she said it during the Oprah show, because that wasn't an interview. During the Oprah show, she said that somebody talked to Harry. Somebody. She didn't say very many people. She said somebody talked to Harry while she was pregnant, with expressing concerns about Archie's skin color and that he was not going to get any titles because of that. And we go, what? Are you saying that they were racist? If that is your assumption, remember I've talked about this, that they did this word volleyball because they wanted to have plausible deniability. Oh, because then, as you saw just now at the very beginning of that, before this, you saw Harry denying everything that Meghan had said. Pretty much saying, no, Meghan never said they're racist. So, in my very humble opinion, Meghan putting through Omid that there was not only one royal racist, but two, is to bitch slap Harry. That's what Meghan Markle was doing, bitch slapping Harry, and basically refuting everything he said in that interview, because he's not going to portray her a liar in the public medium. Because that's what basically Harry said in that interview. Meghan never said racist. No. And then he distanced himself. He said, that family. That family. That is his family. You know, words matter. So for him to say that family, it's distancing himself from them. Completely detachment. Instead of saying from my family, if you've grown up with my family, you would understand that they're not racist. Because they're not. The only racist in that family is Prince Harry. Proven royal racist. So this is Meghan's idea of bitch slapping Harry and saying, no, Harry lied in that interview. It wasn't just one royal racist. There were two. That is Meghan's way of bitch slapping Harry and putting him in his place in her mind. This is why Harry can't stand her guts. Because she's gone behind his back and written a lot of this shit that Omid is now spewing through that book. Because this is Meghan's answer to things that she's angry about. Additional stuff. Additional slides. Oh, she just wants to move on with her life. Clearly not. Clearly not. Because again, either this is all made up, that Catherine was giggling and spent more time talking about Meghan than with Meghan. And I don't see that, because Catherine had more important things to do. So it would have to be somebody that Catherine confided in. I don't see that happening. Because Catherine is a very careful person. If that is the case, my money again is in Eugenie and Beatrice, because they're tight. I know people don't want to believe that Beatrice is tight with Meghan Markle, but yes, they are. Hence, we have this podcast of Eugenie saying that how great King Charles is and William, because she knows she fucked up. She knows she fucked up, and I'm sorry, I'm swearing. And now she's trying to accommodate that, because Eugenie is learning a hard lesson in Beatrice, that they can't trust Meghan, that everything they've told Meghan is going into this book, whether it's true or not. And if it's not, we know that Meghan Markle is making all of this up. So, and Meghan Markle doesn't care about lying in public. And yes, I don't say Omid Scobie. This is Meghan Markle's work. Okay? So this is so far what we have. And so what is it going to be next year? 3 royal races? 3 royal races. And what is interesting is that Meghan Markle says in that book that it wasn't that one of the royal races is royal, one of the races is royal, and the other one is extended family, not royalty, because she doesn't see Catherine as royalty, nor Camilla. So I'm pretty sure she's talking about either Catherine's family or Camilla's family, or Mike Tyndall's family, any other people who are married to actual royals. So she's trying to include all these people. So my money's either on Catherine and her family, Camilla and her family, or William and Catherine's family, because she needs to smear shit all over everybody else. And you know why it's important to talk about this? People say, why bother about it? Because there's people who still believe this shit. People who are still, if you go to my X page, people are still saying Meghan Markle is not a bully. Meghan Markle is family orientated. She has spent more time without those poor kids, if they exist, than with them. And then we have that Harry, when he was evicted after he wrote Spare. Let's not forget that in that book Spare, Harry fantasized about killing his father, which is actually treason, guys. And nobody's picking up on this. That's actually treason. And he's putting it there in writing. Talks about, oh, don't you want to see your grandchildren? Why? I mean, as it was, they were not seeing the grandkids at all, if they exist. Do you think the kids exist? I personally, I think there's some kids, but I don't think they were lawfully begotten. Let me put it this way. I don't think they're lawfully begotten in the sense that they need to have been born in a certain way in order to be in the line of succession. This latest Meghan Markle's book is spiteful. It's filled with lies. And why do we talk about it? Because there are people still buying their shit. There's still people buying their bullshit. People still, oh no, she didn't bully. What did she say about Samantha? I mean, are these people forgetting that Meghan Markle had to apologize in a court of law because she committed perjury, and she got away with it, by the way. She committed perjury. When you lie to a court of law, you commit perjury. Because in order for her to send a written statement, this wasn't that she was interviewed. It was a written statement. So she had to sit down, think about it, put it in paper, and then sign it under perjury, under threat of perjury. So she had to sit down and think. This is a woman who's still talking about scrunchies that she never made. And the reason why I posted those pictures at the beginning, guys, of this video is to show you that she wrote a letter to Congress claiming poverty. She never was poor. She was pony riding. When have you ever seen anybody from the ghetto go on a pony? You know, she's at Buckingham Palace. She's everywhere. So why is it important to talk about this and still keep talking about it? Because, as I told you, the lies are getting more outrageous. Basically, what Harry and Meghan said in the Oprah interview, people have forgotten about it. Some people have forgotten about it because that was literally last year's news. And the way that the news cycles moves is very fast. So people are only going to think of today's news. And that's going to shape people's perceptions, especially stupid people. So, because Oprah has removed that interview completely. You cannot get that interview, not even at CBS or anything like that. You cannot even pay for it. You know how some places you can pay for it and you can download it? You can't even. It's gone. So this is important why to talk about it. Why keep saying they're lying? She's a liar. Harry is a liar. Harry can't stand that woman. Yet he's there because he knows he's gone too far. And there's no way back for him. Truly, there is no way back for Harry. We have the England Rugby X account posting a video of Harry when he was their patron in 2003. I believe, and this is, you may disagree with me, that this is King Charles' way of testing the waters to see if it brings Harry back to be the patron of the English rugby. Because the English rugby team is still hungering for him to see their reaction. You should see the comments are brutal. To me, that's an incredible sign of absolute disrespect towards Catherine. And this was absolutely authorized by King Charles. Because the English rugby account, official account, is not going to put out something like that to offend Catherine, if it's going to offend Catherine, which most likely would. They're testing the waters to bring Harry back because he was doing the hockey thing. They knew that this was about to come out. And they're testing to see how to bring him back. So when the book comes, I will read it. I'm not going to buy it, but I will read it. And I will tell you all the bits about it. We're going to go through with it so you don't have to buy it, because we're not going to fatten the pockets of Meghan Markle. Because pretty much all the money from this book is going to Meghan Markle. Make no mistake about it. Because there's no way that Meghan Markle is going to give all this info for free. She's going to get a cut. She is going to get a cut. So please leave me your comments, beautiful people. And as usual, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.